Welcome to World at Work TV. I'm Allison Avalos, and I'm joined today by John Bremen of Towers Watson. We're talking today about how Total Rewards can help prepare businesses for the future. And John, I'd like to start off by talking about what are the current challenges in business today, and how can Total Rewards and talent management strategies help those organizations with those challenges get ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the greatest challenge today is really not a new challenge. We're all trying to do more with less. The recession is over in most industries, yet companies are still finding a challenge delivering competitive, differentiated pay levels or levels in terms of total rewards. You add to that the changing talent landscape where you now have multiple generations living under one roof. You have different employee segments who want different things. We've always known, for example, salespeople tend to want different things than, say, research scientists. But now today, the organization really can be segmented even further than that. Different groups wanting different things, 20 or 30 different demographics in a single company. So we're trying to do more with less, and we're trying to do more for more and different types of people. And that's a great challenge. No company today can afford to do everything for everybody like they may have been able to once. Really the name of the game is how to differentiate yourself in a unique and creative way, appealing to those employee segments who are most crucial for you, either roles or populations, locations, businesses, but just trying to determine how we can determine what we need to do for the groups that are going to make the most material impact on us.
How can Total Reward strategies and talent management strategies help businesses overcome that?
I think the first step has to be getting to know your employee population, not only their demographics, their numbers, but really understanding their preferences. What we're really seeing today, which is different from 5 or 10 years ago, is companies are now having the ability to reach out to their employee populations and say, what do you need? What do you prefer? And a lot of companies are a little afraid of this. Ask our people. We don't like to ask our people these things because what if they tell us things that we can't deliver on? But even if companies find out that their employees want something they're not able to deliver on, it's better for them to know that than to not know that. Because by knowing that, they can say, you know what, we're on a journey together, and it's going to take us some time. We aspire to be able to deliver that sort of thing. But in the meantime, here's what we're doing to try to make that change. Or simply to say, you know, we don't have the kind of business where we can offer that. That's not in the cards. But here's what we can offer instead, and to have an honest, transparent conversation about it. Companies, I think, have to get over some fear to do that. But once they do, they find that by having that conversation, oh, well, we can't do this, but we can do this other thing. And this other thing is actually far less costly than what we're doing. We have a program today that either people don't know about or they don't appreciate. We're wasting millions of dollars. Let's take that program out and replace it with something that is more meaningful.
So does the same approach apply to the future when you think about tomorrow's business challenges and trying to kind of look in the crystal ball, if you will? Yeah. How can Total Rewards professionals stay ahead of the curve?
They can stay ahead of the curve not by thinking about what is, but by thinking about what can be. And really, it's to start thinking about the future and what are the demographics of their workforce going to look like. And we talk a lot about generations, but you know, in 2018, what percent of their organization will still be baby boomers? What will be Generation X? What will be Generation Y? What will be this new generation, Generation Z, who are now getting ready to graduate from college? It's thinking about what your demographics look like and what people are going to need and how you can deliver to them things that either you never had the ability to deliver before or you never thought about it because you didn't really know what they needed.
So what can organizations do to really maximize their investment in Total Rewards?
Personally, I think it's 3 things. I think number one, they really need to understand the preferences of their organization. I don't think you can do a lot without understanding it. I frequently ask CEOs, when the last time you spent $3 billion on something without first finding out whether it would work? And they kind of chuckle and they say, well, I'd be out of a job if I did that too often. But the reality is they did it just this year, and they're going to do it next year. And they'll do it the year after, unless they really start asking the same way they ask, is an acquisition going to work? Right? Is a new product going to work? What's the return on investment? Buying a patent, buying a plant, anything we do, we first do the business case. So number one, let's understand the preferences. Number two, let's understand the business case and the return. And number three, then let's ask ourselves really, how do we create an employee experience that is differentiated? In the future, the development of programs will be a necessary but not sufficient condition. I think what is going to be sufficient for really for differentiation is weaving together all the programs in a way that's meaningful to these different populations, because we're getting into a world where each employee wants to think the program is really for them. With the help of technology and social media and all kinds of different delivery devices, we can do this now. So let's meet them halfway. Let's sort of go to them with the tools we have to give them the programs and experiences they need so that they can then deliver the performance that we need from them.
It makes a lot of sense. So are there some examples of companies who are doing any or all of this really well today?
There are. I can't really mention names, but
Okay.
in terms of organizations, I think the most profound two changes are companies that are, for example, using social media as a delivery strategy. And people sometimes roll their eyes and say, oh, that's really trite. It's never happening. But we're finding companies that are really throwing away their paper now, and they're using social media. They're using iPhones, they're using pads and other sort of delivery devices to deliver things that they delivered on paper as recently as 2-3 years ago. That used to be perceived as gimmicky. Now they're finding out it's not only more cost effective, it works better, because the new generations are telling us they won't read anything that comes through the mail. They won't even read anything now that they have to go to a website for. They want sort of that instant access. It's not automatically being reactionary and saying, let's just go now, move to social media and deliver things on tablets, because we have a lot of components of the workforce who don't have tablets yet, right? So the idea is you have to deliver programs and deliver messages in a way that people can understand them using media that they understand. That's one. The other is, I think, this notion of employee segmentation, treating employees as consumers, doing conjoint trade-off analyses, using a lot of the tools that previously we had seen in the marketing world. Now we're seeing heads of HR say, my job used to be the chief human resource officer. I'm now the chief employee experience officer, the way that my CMO is the chief customer experience officer. My job is really to deliver a differentiated experience to my employees. And so you take the aspects of delivery that really feel customized and tailored to the audiences. You take the notion of changing the mindset of HR from being sort of paternalistic and highly program-based, highly control-based, highly administrative, now to being much more progressive, much more enabling, much more partnering with employees to give them what they want. It creates a concoction that really is a winning combination. And I think from the perspective of total rewards professionals, can take not only their job success to a new level, but their career success to new heights as well.
So your predictions for the future, do you see more of the same in terms of the focus on the employee, the need to tailor programs to deliver a value proposition that really speaks to them? Will that continue? Will that grow? Do you see that shifting in the future?
Yeah, I absolutely think it's going to grow, and I think it's going to grow to the point that it becomes so prevalent, it becomes part of the fabric and texture of our profession. I think today people think about communication as a separate step from design. I think in the future, again, just like we have in marketing, there's going to be no distance between the delivery mechanism of a program and the design of the program itself. I think our brand, I think our programs, I think our delivery, I think our experience are going to be all rolled into one. So I think when we look at it, I don't know whether it's 5 years from now or 10 years from now, but at some point in the future, when we look at this, they're going to be indistinguishable, and people will look back and say, wow, how did we do it without combining these things? And I think it's going to become a really natural part of the job.
The future of Total Rewards. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
For World at Work, I'm Allison Avalos.